From wildfires to hurricanes, we've seen a number of natural disasters in the last year. It serves as a reminder for farm property owners to make the right plans to protect their market value. Joining us now with some guidance is CEO of National Land Realty, Ronnie Richardson. Ronnie, thank you for your time today. So what can landowners do to protect their properties from the destructive forces of Mother Nature? What are some things to keep in mind?
Thank you for having us, Tammy. It's always a pleasure to be here. What can you do about a natural disaster? And the truth is, you really can't do a whole lot. I'm from Mississippi, and when that Mississippi River starts rolling, you're not going to stop it. And we've had the natural disasters this year. We've had the wildfires in California. We've had the droughts in the Midwest. And then Helene slams into Georgia and Alabama and goes up through the Carolinas and just destroys a bunch of crops up through there. So how do you prepare for that? The best thing we tell people is to analyze what you believe would be a natural disaster in your area. There's not going to be a hurricane in Kansas, most likely, but there likely could be a drought. So we say, make sure what kind of water supply you got. Check it. Drill it. Have a geologist come out and see what kind of water supply you got. That's the best way to defend yourself against a drought. But these other natural disasters, and I'll give you some examples in Texas. The biggest deal for a cattle farmer in Texas, the fear is a lightning strike and a fire. I mean, because how do you prevent that? You can't prevent that. And so. But from a crop insurance standpoint, that's the way to best protect yourself from any kind of natural disaster is make sure you check your insurance policy and make sure you're covered.
Yeah, let's talk more specifically about that. When it comes to insurance policies for farmland, what do they need to look at?
You find your local crop insurance agent in your local town and get him to explain to you what the policy covers and tell him what you're looking for. If I'm a cattle farmer, I want to make sure that if lightning strikes and burns up my cattle, that I'm covered. But be very specific on what you ask. You can't there's not just a blanket crop insurance policy out there.
Right. It's definitely on a case-by-case basis. Let's talk about the market value impact. Like on some of these areas that have experienced these natural disasters, is that market value impacted by that?
The overall market is not impacted by say Hurricane Helene. Hurricane Helene hit the pecan farms pretty hard in Georgia. But that's overall and long term, that's not going to affect the value unless it really damaged the trees. No different than the drought in Kansas this year. The overall market is still pretty stable. Overall prices are down just a little bit, but it's not because of that drought. So regionally it may affect something, but it's not going to affect it across the board.
Right. In our final few seconds, any last-minute advice as we navigate the market in 2025?
I would say this. I was visiting with a guy that's an advisor to the Secretary of the USDA the other day, and we were talking about the massive amount of transfers of agricultural properties in the next 15 years. And it's like I always say, if you're thinking about selling your property, call a professional and let's make a plan.
Right. Got a plan for the future. That's CEO of National Land Realty, Ronnie Richardson. Thank you for joining us.